Hi, I'm Melissa Glenny. I'm founder and president of Franklin Professional Associates. And if you have ever struggled to make a change in your life, then this video is for you. Last week I was talking with a group of job seekers and employers, and one of the job seekers asked me a question that I was so impressed with. He asked me if he was trying to make a career change or a pivot in his career, how he could go about changing his own perception of himself in order to help him do that. And the fact that he was even asking me that, signaled he had this awareness that until the change happens on the inside, nothing really is going to stick on the outside, which I think is so true. So I've been giving it a lot of thought, and specifically I'm relating this to your career, although I think that there's application in the broader sense of making changes. So the first thing that I want to share with you, first of three, is about using your network. And if you look at the structure of networks, just for a moment, envision a roadmap. And let's just pick a state that you're most familiar with. You'll see in some areas that there are roads that intersect here and there. And then in other cases, you have roads coming in and just a cluster where they're just coming in and intersecting all over the place, so much so that you can't even trace the individual roads. In a computer network, this cluster where all these connections are coming in is referred to as a hub. Now, in social networking, it's no different. This is a fun little exercise you can see for yourself. Take 20 minutes and write down the names of everyone you know. And then next to their names, write down how it is that you know them. So for example, I have a client named Sheila, who was referred to me by Mike, who I was introduced to through my friend Ed. So ultimately I know Sheila through Ed. When you do this exercise, you will find that certain names appear again and again. And these people are your hubs. So watch for the hubs. Now, why is that important? Well, you may have heard before that you are the sum of the 5 people you associate with the most. Now, your hubs have a particular influence over your network, and thus they have a particular influence over you. So when you are looking to become something that you aspire to, look for those people you admire, the people who always give you great advice, somebody who's doing really well in an area that is important to you, and those are the people that you want to be associating with. So the second thing is behaviors. Consistent and congruent behaviors, meaning that they are congruent with that identity that you are looking to become. So if you are becoming an athlete, then sitting on the couch watching Netflix is not going to support that perception of yourself being an athlete, whereas going to the track or the gym or climbing the mountain or whatever it might be will support that perception, and every single time you're taking action in that direction, you're supporting that perception and essentially burning it in until that is how you see yourself, and you no longer see yourself as what was. The third thing, I'm going to bounce off of that idea of consistent and congruent behavior with something that I think is really helpful to keep in mind, especially as you're beginning, and that is that the behaviors don't have to be massive, but they do have to be consistent. There's an amazing book I read, I believe it's called Tiny Habits, and it talks about how the smallest of habits ultimately are what lead to the big things. There's another concept that was introduced to me in that book, and that is the idea of habit stacking. So my recommendation for you is to start with making a list of things that you can do that would support this new identity. And as small as they might be to as large as they might be, pick something every single day. Jerry Seinfeld was asked about the secret to his success, and he tells a great story of how he would not break the chain. In his case, it was writing. He wanted to be a writer, writer's right. He would write every single day, whether he felt creative, funny, or if he had a gig, but he would put an X on the calendar every day that he wrote. And so he visually would not break the chain. And I would advise you to do the same thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same repeated action every day, but something that supports that new perception that you're looking for. And if you stack the little thing with something else that is already a habit, back to that habit stacking concept, such as affirmations that you can repeat for 1 minute while you brush your teeth. So you're less likely to forget and less likely to make excuses, because what is going to compel you to do something different while you brush your teeth? It's 1 minute and you're brushing your teeth anyway. So I love habit stacking personally. It's worked well for me. So just to summarize, take a look at your network. Be very mindful and clear and purposeful when you're choosing the 5 people you're associating with. And don't worry about 5 right now. Just find one who would help you support who it is that you're looking to become. Take that consistent and congruent action and keep it small and simple. I hope that helps. If this is helpful for someone else that you know, please share, like, subscribe. Love having the conversations with you, and thank you so much for tuning in.